My good people, my good people. Hello, world. I'd like to welcome y'all back to the show that's hot with your boy Rob Scott. This is Robs2Cents, man. What's going on, everybody, man? I missed y'all. So good to be back. Last time I got a chance to talk to you guys and seeing you guys. It was before the All Star break. We got a chance to see All Star Weekend this past weekend. I was not impressed. Simply put, All Star Weekend for the NBA for 2024, the year of the Mamba, was basura, straight trash, garbito, dumpster fire, no competitiveness at all throughout this weekend. We got to recap All Star Weekend as we're now on the cusp of the second half of the regular season in the NBA. As you guys know, most teams have played about 52 to about 55 games. So we're sitting at about 20 some games left, maybe 30 for some teams. And it's starting to get down to the nitty gritty now. Now you're starting to ask yourself which one of these teams are hungry enough to try to make that late playoff push. Got some teams right now that's sitting in prime position. Their spot in the standings won't be challenged. But you got a lot of teams right now jockeying for position, trying to get in the playoffs, avoid the play in, and even some teams that's lucky enough to even make the play in. But before we get into all that, I want you guys to sit back, relax, grab you something to drink, do whatever you do to relax, kick back and tune in to the hottest sports conversation in the nation. This is Robs2Cents. Also, before I even start, got to give out a rest in peace. Lost an uncle this past weekend. Don't want to get into details, but one of the biggest Packers fans I know. So to my Uncle Kelvin, Uncle Toot, as we all call him, man, we gonna miss you. Love you, Unc. Um, you know, and until we meet again, we'll continue to have that Bears Packers rivalry. But over the weekend, we saw All Star break, and it starts off Friday night celebrity game. I won't break down the celebrity teams, but you have Jennifer Hudson is there. You got Micah Parsons from the Dallas Cowboys, that defensive end, that stud they got over there. You have Puka Nakua show up from the Los Angeles Rams, that stud receiver. You have McCole Hardman, Super Bowl champion, caught the game-winning touchdown in overtime for the Kansas City Chiefs. You had Kai Cenat there. This celebrity game was better than some. You actually had some celebrities there, some recognizable people. And it was a competitive game. Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp, first take co-host, coaching the celebrity games. And Shannon Sharp was team Shannon Sharp was able to pull out the W, um, beating Stephen A. Smith 100-91. And Michael Parsons comes away with the MVP. He can't get it done in Dallas, but he got it done on the basketball court. Shout out to Michael, man. Just a little jokey joke from old Robbie Rob. But the celebrity game was competitive. About as competitive as it could be for a celebrity game for people that are not professional basketball players. But you did have some athletes out there, and you definitely saw that with Puka Nakua and Michael Parsons out there, throwing down dunks, fast break, Mike out there looking like baby Zion, bullying his way in the hole. He ended with 37 points and 16 rebounds. But if I recall correctly, it took him like 30 something shots to get to the 37 points. I mean, he completely took over the celebrity game. If you was on Micah's team, you probably weren't going to get a chance to score the ball. I mean, it was one play. Kai Cenat is down there in the middle of the paint. He's like, give me the ball. And Micah decides to shoot a step back three. So, it was a fun, competitive night. But then we started to get into the nitty gritty of some things. Got a chance to see the Rising Stars Challenge. And as you guys know, this gets to showcase some of the young rookies and sophomores and G League talent that the NBA and the G League has to offer. And four coaches with Hall of Fame backgrounds. I mean, you got Paul Gasol, had Jalen Rose, you had Detlef Shrimp, and you had Tamika Catchings. On Team Gasol, you have Victor Wembanyama, Brandon Miller, Brandon Podziemski, Jaime Jaquez Jr., Jabari Smith Jr., Kason Wallace, and Bilal Coulibaly. On Team Tamika, you have Paulo Bencaro, Jaden Ivey, Jalen Durant, Keegan Murray, Keontae George, Dyson Daniels, Scoot Henderson, and Vince Williams Jr. On Team Jalen, you had Chet Holmgren, Jalen Williams, Benedict Matthews, Shaden Sharp, Derek Lively, Walker Kessler, Jordan Hawkins, and Jeremy Shohan. And then on Team Detlef Shrimp, you had Eisen Almanza, Matas Buzelli, Ron Harlan, Tyler Smith, Oscar Tashibi, Alondes Williams, Matt McClung, and Amani Bates. Excuse me. Now the funny thing with Detlef Shrimp was he had a team full of G leaguers, and they were able to beat uh 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 Team Pal in the first round. I mean Team Pal. I mean this is the team I just said had Victor Wembanyama, Brandon Miller, Brandon Podziemski, Hyman Jaquez Jr. They lose to a bunch of G leaguers, and that's what I'm talking about in the NBA. Like, where's your pride at? Back in the day, playing that rookie versus sophomore game, players used to have pride in that because they know this is where they're going to get to showcase, themselves in hopes to one day be an all-star, to one day get those max contracts, to one day become a household name and get those endorsements and get those deals. Like, they show absolutely no heart. Like, if I'm Wembanyama, I'm anxious to come out there to show you boys that I'm up here and y'all are down here. Like, there was no competitive. Like, for a team, like, you would think on paper that Team Powell was the favorite. Remember, he was able to coach his team last year in the Rising Stars Challenge and win. You would think that his team would have been the favorite, especially, these are a lot of first round picks. But as I mentioned, Team Detlef Shrimp, a team full of G Leaguers, was able to beat Team Powell. Team Jalen was able to defeat Team Tamika, and then Jalen will go on to defeat Team Deadlift. Those guys at least showed some fight, and was like, we're in the NBA already. We're not gonna let G Leaguers come in here and beat us. And no disrespect to the G Leaguers, because some of those guys, do deserve shots in the NBA. But let's just be real. That's like varsity playing against the Farsoft team. It's like varsity playing against the freshman team. You're not gonna want to lose to the freshman team if you're varsity. And if I'm an NBA player, I'm not losing to a G leaguer. It just you're supposed to have some type of competitive drive to you. Now, shout out to Jalen Rose, who, by the way, does so many great things for the state of Michigan, city of Detroit. With his initiatives, and he has an academy. You know, all type of things that he's been doing out there for the impoverished communities. So shout out to Jalen Rose. His team was able to win in the Rising Stars Challenge. Benedict Mathurin from Indiana Pacers took home the MVP, so he was able to show some home court love there. Then we get into the skills competition. You had Team Pacers, which consists of Tyrese Halliburton, Benedict Mathurin, Miles Turner. You had a team called Top Picks that had, which I'm guessing top draft picks, consisted of Paulo Bencaro, Anthony Edwards, and Victor Wembanyama. And then you had Team All Stars, which were the young guys that are now participating in the All Star game. And Trey Young, Tyrese Maxey, Scotty Barnes. Of course, in the skills competition, they're going to test various things. So they ran a couple dribble drills, passing drills, layup drills. They had a drill where they were shooting half court shots, had a drill where they were shooting 3-point shots. Team Pacers were able to come away with it. Um, they have the better shooters, like Tyrese Halliburton, who also performed pretty well in the 3-point contest. Benedict Mathurin, who just won MVP of the Rising Stars game. And we know what Miles Turner can do as a stretch big man in the NBA, able to hit that three ball and versatile, able to get to the rim as well. So Team Pacers, again, with the hometown cooking, able to walk away as winners of the skills challenge, which I think was it didn't start off competitive, but you can tell Indiana wanted to win it. And I think that kind of set the pace because they came out and they didn't play around. They didn't pussyfoot with the drills. They actually were hitting the drills fast, trying to make that time. I mean, at one point in time, Anthony Edwards was out there shooting left-handed threes. It's like, dude, are you gonna take this shit? If you're not gonna take it serious, just stay home. Like it's a waste of our time as viewers. It's a waste of our time as fans. I felt bad for the people that actually paid to go watch the All Star game in person because it was just all bad. It just I hate to see these guys go out there and not take pride in the product that they are putting out to the world. It's like this is what you're putting out to the world. You want the world to look at your non-competitive nature. No wonder people say they don't watch the NBA anymore. And the All Star, the actual All Star game was proof of that. Uh, but as I mentioned, Team Pacers walk away with the win. We get to the 3-point contest next. We had contestants Damian Lillard, who was the defending champion, Carl Anthony Towns, another former 3-point champion, Tyrese Halliburton, Donovan Mitchell, Malik Beasley, Laurie Marketing, Jalen Brunson, and Trey Young. And Damian Lillard was able to walk away with the 3-point championship once again. If I had to critique anything about the 3-point contest, I would say that it was mentioned over the broadcast. I think Reggie Miller mentioned something about it during the 3-point contest that their feet were actually over the line, and that's you have to be behind the 3-point line for that to be considered a 3-point shot. That would probably be my only critique about the 3-point contest. I think it was very competitive. I mean, the first four guys came out, got 26. I think that was Carl Anthony Towns, Halliburton, Mitchell and Lillard. They came out, they got 26, and then it started going down to the wire. Dame Lillard only needed one more bucket to beat Carl Anthony's score of 21. I think that came down to the wire. He ended up hitting his last bucket, and he takes home the championship as a back-to-back champion. Damian Lillard having himself a night at the on All-Star Weekend. And right after that, we had the inter-promotional battle between Sabrina Ionescu and Steph Curry. We're talking about the best female shooter so far in the WNBA, a young lady who's exceeded all expectations, who exceeded all records and accolades while she was at the University of Oregon, holding it down in the NCAA, and now bringing it to the New York Liberty when she just helped lead her team to a WNBA Finals, and unfortunately, they fell short against Asia Wilson and the Las Vegas Aces. But make no quills about it, ladies and gentlemen. Sabrina Ionescu is the real deal. That girl can shoot, and I have dubbed her Lady Mamba. I don't want anybody taking my nickname for Sabrina Ionescu. I call her Lady Mamba. If you know anything about Sabrina Ionescu, you know about the relationship that she had with Kobe Bryant. Kobe was taking Gigi to a lot of Oregon games to watch her play. She got to speak at Kobe Bryant Memorial at the Staples Center. She was that close with Kobe, and she credits him to the attention that's being paid now to the women's basketball. Sabrina is the real deal. Lady Mamba came to play. She even said before the 3-point contest, because the rules were stating that Steph Curry would shoot from NBA regulation and Sabrina would shoot from WNBA regulation. She said, no, don't do me any favors. I will shoot where he's shooting from. Now granted, she did keep the WNBA ball, which is, of course, smaller than a regulation NBA size basketball. But the fact that she said, I don't want any advantage, actually giving the advantage to Steph Curry because he shoots from regulation all the time. I mean, we know Steph Curry, that's logo Curry, that's the chef. He is the best shooter to ever grace God's green earth. Point blank. Period. We saw the Reggie Millers. We saw the Ray Allens. We've seen the Glenn Rices and other shooters of the world. We have never the Cal Corvers, the JJ Reddicks. We've never seen anybody like Steph Curry when it comes to shooting the basketball. And this was going to be a great matchup. And I respected Sabrina for wanting to shoot from the same range as Curry and show that, like she said, verbatim. Doesn't matter if you're a girl, doesn't matter if you're a boy. If you can shoot the ball, then you can shoot the ball. And that's when she proceeded to go out there. She went out there and got 26. Technically, she tied Damian Lillard and those other three NBA superstars score in that first round and probably would have been a finalist in the men's 3 point contest. Now Steph comes out there, he gets 29. Now, to me, honestly, and a lot of people, I got some slack for that, but to me, honestly, felt like Steph was kind of playing around. I felt like, at first he came out and he was shooting, and then, his competitor drive kicked in and was like, unfortunately, and there's no disrespect to women, but as a male, and especially in sports, you're not gonna want to lose to a woman. Just you got to have pride somewhere. And Steph came out there, got the job done. He scores 29 on the 3 point contest easily, by the way. Neither one of the competitors looked like they broke a sweat. Sabrina, you can tell, was really pissed that she didn't win. And I respect her. She showed more competitive drive than every player that participated in the All-Star game. Like, Sabrina came out there with the intention of, even though I know I'm going against Steph Curry, I can beat this dude. Like, that's how she thought. And you can see the disappointment on her face when she didn't win. Like, she smiled, thankful for the opportunity, but she wasn't coming there just to lose. Like, she wanted to win, and I respected that so much from Lady Mamba. Sabrina Ionescu showing real Mamba mentality, and I wish that'll rub off on some of these NBA players. So that was a great interpromotional matchup. I mean, that was the highlight of All Star Weekend. That alone stole the show because then we were going to the dunk contest. You got a rookie in the dunk contest. You got a G League, two G Leaguers in the dunk contest. Because even though they're trying to say Jacob Toppin, who's the brother of Obi Toppin, is signed with the New York Knicks, he had just signed a 2-way contract. So he came from the G League. You got a defending champion that's from the G League in Matt McClung, and you had a rookie in Jaime Jaquez Jr. And then you had Jaylen Brown, like just randomly, Jaylen Brown participated in the dunk contest, and I'll give him kudos for that, but I'm not into the giving out awards because you participated. The product that he put out there was trash, and I definitely want to say, to the judges of the dunk contest, I didn't even want to write your names down because I wouldn't want to discredit your legend. But you guys were literally trying to give Jaylen Brown the dunk contest. Like how the hell he got a 49 on the first dunk that he put out? I don't know. I'm like, this dunk contest is rigged. I mean, and it wasn't because I put the money on Jacob Toppin to win. It was because that dunk was Basura. I'm like, are the judges trying to give this to Jaylen Brown? And Matt McClung woke up and he put on some spectacular dunks. Should have got a 50 definitely on the pass to himself dunk. That was crazy while he was jumping over somebody. But um overall, the dunk contest was Basura. Like, nobody tries anymore. No superstars are in it. Where are the Ja Morant? I know Ja's hurt this year, but when is Ja gonna participate in the dunk contest? When is Anthony Edwards gonna participate in the dunk contest? When are all these guys who are high flyers in the NBA going to participate in the dunk contest? A lot of people want to give LeBron a hard time, and yes, it would have been nice to see LeBron in the dunk contest. But I can also respect the player who's telling themselves, you know what? That's not me. I can do that in the game and it looks spectacular. But I'm not a freestyle dunker. I'm not a guy that's gonna come in and woo and wow you. And Stephen A. Smith brought up a great point. Maybe with the dunk contest, you have an NBA player actually sponsor a real dunker. So we can make this thing exciting. Like, both guys get to profit off of this money if you win the dunk contest. Because now, as an NBA player, I don't care how much money you making. If I can make an extra 100,000, I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, all money. You know what I'm saying? Hey, oatmeal better than no meal. That's what I was taught. And also, you're giving a spotlight to some guys who probably wouldn't get that on a national stage, and you're actually getting a competitive and exciting dunk contest. Maybe that's what the NBA should do. Let an NBA player actually sponsor a dunker. That was a great idea from Stephen A. Smith. I'm not going to sit up here and say that was my idea. I think that is an awesome idea because honestly, the 3 point contest is way more exciting than the dunk contest now. Like, I don't even look forward to the dunk contest. It's a snooze fest. Like, I knew McClung was gonna win because when I saw the names on there, I was like, who? Like, I didn't even know Jaime Jaquez Jr. could even do dunks like that. I didn't. But when I saw McClung like clearly clear Shaq, didn't put his hand on him or anything, it's like, yeah, he's clearly up here when it comes to dunking to everybody else. So back to back champion and Matt McClung, shout out to him. But if that's the product that the NBA is gonna be putting out at the dunk contest, somebody needs to go look and talk with some people and say maybe we should scratch that from Saturday's events because it was a waste of time. You got people trying to fight traffic to watch that shit. Like that was horrible. Um, and then of course the next night we get to the actual All Star game, which was a snooze fest. It was a snooze fest. The East beat the West 211 to 186. A team actually scored 200 points in a game. Now, they went back to the traditional format. They no longer did the tribute to Kobe, what they were doing, where you had the target score in the fourth quarter and first team to that target score win. No, they played it the old fashioned way, 4 quarters, and East versus West, no pickup style type game. And the East came out there, and they, Tyrese Halliburton had 32, Jalen Brown 36, Damian Lillard 39 points out there going crazy, 11 and 23 from the 3-point line. Like it was basically a shooting contest and a layup drill. There was no competitiveness at all in this All Star game. SGA had 30. Karl Anthony Towns probably had the quietest 50 points I've ever seen in my life. I didn't realize he scored 50 in the All Star game. Like when I heard that, I had to go look at the box score. Like, are you kidding me? Like, when did Cat score 50 points? And Draymond and Charles Barkley stole the show with their commentary because, I mean, what Draymond say? He said, oh, Cat having 50 and down by 20. That looks like the old Timberwolves. I fell out laughing. I fell out in tears. That was the most entertaining thing I've seen or heard during the whole All Star weekend. That was crazy. I mean, nobody looked like they wanted to be there. I mean, you got guys halfway on vacation. I think they're just doing this out of obligation. You don't have to be obligated to me. As a fan, just hey, you're an all-star. Have a good one. We'll see y'all last Thursday. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you hit my ticket when you come back. That's how I feel about it because if that's how the All-Star game is gonna be, I'm gonna stop watching. I'm gonna stop wasting my time and stop watching it because it's like that's such a smack in the face to the game of basketball. Like I was just watching highlight clips of Kobe guarding LeBron full court in an All-Star game because it's like, okay, I get it. Maybe the first quarter starts off a little slow. We're gonna get some oohs and ahs and going on. But by the second, middle of the second, definitely going into the third, it starts to get a little serious. Like I'm gonna want to have bragging rights to say that this group of all stars in this conference, y'all can't touch us. Like you see why the West is so close? Because you got this talent to deal with. And nobody came out with that competitive drive. That's what disappointed me the most. It's like, where's the competitiveness? Everybody want to be everybody's friend. Everybody want to trade jerseys and what happened to being a dog on the court? What happened to, I'm looking at an old All Star game highlight. I mean, Charles Barkley literally elbowing Scottie Pippen. Like, and it's an All Star game, supposed to be high, high, but sooner or later, we got to take this serious. Sooner or later, I'm going to want to win. So I see why so many people say they're through with the NBA. Like even now, there's been no drama in the NBA. Like I'm patiently and excitedly waiting for the second half of the season to start tomorrow because hopefully with playoffs right around the corner, we finally start to see that drama pick up in the NBA. We start to see that edginess that pick up in the NBA because so far it's been quiet. Like I could find things to talk about because I'm a fan of the game, but the NBA has been quiet. Like the NFL season was just rocking. Like we didn't know who was going to win because say what you want about Kansas City Chiefs, them coming out in week 1 and losing to Detroit set the tone for the year. It's like, oh, who's gonna win? Oh, Baltimore look good. Oh, Philly look good. Oh, Detroit look good. San Fran look good. Okay, Kansas City picking back up. Oh, look at Miami. They got cheated. They're scary out. Like you did not know who was gonna win the championship this year. Only people that picked Chiefs to win the championship at the beginning of the year were Chiefs fans. That's it. So you kind of want to get that from the NBA. Now, the one good thing I can say about the NBA is that right now it's up in the air. We don't know who's going to win the championship. You look at the standings right now, Boston right now is above the rest. They're the best team in the NBA. I've been screaming to you guys that Boston might be the scariest team in the NBA due to the fact that bringing Porzingis over there now stretches everybody out. He's a little bit different from Al Horford because Al Horford is older. So he's not going to be moving like Porzingis. The only thing that scares you with Boston is can Porzingis stay healthy? Not to mention bringing over Drew Holiday as well and ensuring that defense on the wing that him and Derek White takes care of. Jalen Brown and Tatum have been seeming to get that act together and playing well with each other. And they are just a better team when Porzingis is on the floor. But I'm not going to sit here today and say I think Boston is going to win the chip. We've seen this song and dance before from Boston. We've seen them be the best team in the NBA. We've seen them be the best team in the Eastern Conference and then still choke when it's time, when the pressure, gets applied. So it's really up in the air. We haven't seen the Clippers fully healthy. Now that we're starting to see Kawhi actually make it through a season, seeing his, cohesion with Paul George and bringing in a James Harden and Russell Westbrook and Westbrook making that sacrifice to come off the bench, the Clippers to me are one of the scarier teams in the NBA because they have the unknown. James Harden, who's a guy who's known for choking in the playoffs, can rely on a Kawhi Leonard and a Paul George because Kawhi has shown he is clutch in the playoffs. Remember what he did to Philly when he was a Raptor. Remember he beat the Golden State Warriors and bought Toronto their only championship. Remember who he was with San Antonio. Kawhi does not allow the pressure to frighten him. And he has an arsenal behind him. Still got to worry about Denver. You still got to worry about Dallas. And now you got the emergence of OKC and Minnesota who are riding the coattails of their two young superstars in Shea Gilgis Alexander, SGA, and my boy Anthony Ant-Man Edwards. It's a lot to take in right now in the NBA. You look at the East, I like the moves that the Knicks have made, bringing in the Ananobi, and I like the moves that Indiana made, bringing in Pascal. But nobody in the East really scares me. Philly going through some trouble right now with the injury to Joel Embiid. Um, and once you get past six, you don't really fear any of those teams. I mean, the Magic have been playing pretty well, but do you trust the Magic to go in there and beat a team 7 times, beat a team like Boston, beat a team like Cleveland, beat a team like Milwaukee? You don't see that. And then with Milwaukee, they're going through their own troubles. There's a lot of beef in the NBA right now, Paul. I mean, you got a lot of animosity. You see Draymond getting into it with Nurkic and KD and the comments that they made back and forth with each other, them saying that they don't know if Draymond will ever get the help that they'll need, and Draymond, questioning their character because they're questioning him and his competitive nature. You see JJ Redick now getting into it with Austin Rivers about his comments on Doc Rivers, which I agree with JJ. To me, I've always said this. I've had conversations with my boy Mike. Shout out to my boy Mike Hughes on Welcome to Mars, the Shy Kid. Conversations with my boy Frankie the Yankee, over there at ESEN Network. My boy Pride over there with Prideful Takes. We've had these conversations with my boy Tony, about is Doc Rivers a top coach? And I don't believe so. I think if I really sat down and went through every coach in the NBA, I don't know if Doc makes my top 15. I don't really look at that as a level of difficulty taking a team like the Boston Celtics in 2008 to the finals. They had KG, Paul Pierce, and Ray Allen. Enough said. That was the big three before we start seeing the big three. So I don't look at that. I look at a guy who's lost 3 or 4 times, having a 4-3 lead, like 3-1 lead. Actually, how do you blow 3-1 leads 4 times. Like that's crazy. So that's what I see in Doc Rivers. But I don't take away the fact that Doc can be a pretty good coach. But one of the things I hate about Doc Rivers is how quickly he throws his team under the bus. We saw it with Philly. Now we kind of saw it with Milwaukee. Talking about half his guys are in Cabo, not there in the game, and it's showing. There's some dysfunction going over there in Milwaukee where you got to be, Doc Rivers has taken over. They're 3-7. They're 3-7. That's not a good look, especially bringing in Damian Lillard and the high expectations that a lot of people have for this Milwaukee Bucks team. So the NBA, hopefully, like I said, we're getting into the second half of the season. Hopefully that drama picks up, that brings that energy, brings that crowd back to the NBA because you got some great talent out there. I had the question with my boy De'Aaron and John and Ken the other day and Michi. You know, we get you know that question of who are you gonna watch when our guys go away now? Like LeBron is gonna retire soon. Steph, KD, they're gonna retire soon. Who's going to be that new person that you watch? And I look at a guy like SGA. I look at a guy like Anthony Edwards. I look at guys like John Morant. Like the NBA has great young. I look at a guy like Zion. If he can stay healthy, I mean, there's not too many people on that play basketball that can stand under in front of big fella. So that we got the talent. I got to see the drive there, and it starts with things like the All-Star game. Like you have to show your appreciation to the fans by giving them a competitive game. Even Larry Bird in the Legends brunch said, "I hope that this game at least be competitive." They've shown clips from Kobe in various interviews during his retirement before he tragically passed away. Rest in peace, Mamba. Of him talking about it being competitive in an All-Star game. And if the NBA is gonna put out product like that, you're gonna start to lose a lot of fans. So hopefully the second half of the season is great, exhilarating. I'm excited to see these teams get themselves primed and ready for playoff basketball because it's starting to get real now, folks. It's starting to get spring. Baseball is right around the corner. These are the times that show who are the new legends in the NBA. Definitely excited about it, man. So you guys make sure you tune in next week as NBA basketball will be back. We'll be back into the full swing of things, talking everything NBA. Before I leave you, I know everybody's been making such a big deal about Justin Fields. Hey, I appreciate y'all for showing up. What's going on? What's going on, baby? Hey, appreciate y'all for watching. Real talk, real talk. I'm hoping Brandon Ayuk stays. I hope he stay with the Niners. They definitely gonna need him. He's definitely turned himself into a household name. Brandon Ayuk being one of those great route runners in the NFL, a guy that can get downfield, get down the field fast, and make tough catches, like the catch he did against Detroit, bounced right off the guy's helmet. He's able to bring it in, and Brandon Ayuk was definitely a lifesaver for a guy like Brock Purdy. So hopefully he gets to stay a 49er. We'll see if they're gonna try to franchise tag him. They got some guys over there that they're gonna need to pay, especially on that defensive side of the ball as well. And before I get up out of here, man, a lot of people in Chicago been talking about Justin Fields. I'm following the Bears on IG. I just saw an interview with him talking, and he simply put it, he's unfollowed the NFL. It's not just the Bears he's unfollowed. He's unfollowed the NFL with his names coming up and trade talk and things like that. He's just trying to enjoy his vacation, and I respect that. You guys know I've been an advocate for the Chicago Bears keeping Justin Fields and going after Marvin Harrison Jr. in the draft. To me, like I've always said, the perfect thing for the Bears to do is to trade that first pick to New England. New England and Washington are going for quarterbacks in this draft. Trade that pick to New England. Allow them to go number one. We take their third pick. We also take three more of their picks. We can also take somebody from their defense. We can do a lot with this number one draft pick. Get Marvin Harrison Jr., get some good offensive linemen, and get some good young defensive boys in that draft. So hopefully the Bears listen. I got faith in General Manager Ryan Poles. We've seen what he's done with the Kansas City Chiefs during his time there. So I'm holding out for faith that the Chicago Bears make the right decision. And as you guys know, before I get out of here, I always have a video of the week. And the theme of this week is fight. Take a look at this video. If you guys didn't see that, let's watch that one more time. Ladies and gentlemen, that young man just showed you the real meaning to the saying. It ain't about the size of the dog in the fight. It's about the size of the fight in the dog. That little motherfucker ran everybody over, delivered the boom on offense, and got to the crib, straight to the crib with the tutty. I'm talking about, oh my goodness. And that just shows y'all. That's my message to y'all. Hey, no matter what you're going through, man, you got to keep that fight going. Yeah, keep that fight strong because that fight is what's going to get you through to the next battle. And this is my time, ladies and gentlemen, man. I appreciate y'all for tuning in as I gave y'all a review of that basura ass All-Star Weekend. Hopefully the NBA picks it up in the second half. As I mentioned, playoff time is right around the corner. We're gonna see which team is for real and which team are the fakers. No, I got nothing but love for y'all again, man. Rest in peace to my Uncle Tootie, man. Love you, man. Bears versus Pack all day, baby. I can't wait till we meet again. We'll have us a couple cold ones watching the Bears versus Packers for years to come. And y'all continue to do what you do, man. Continue to be progressive, man. Continue to be productive. Continue to always be innovative. Always think of new ideas and never be stagnant, man. Keep that mind going. You do not want that mind to become idle because idle minds lead to a lot of trouble. Got nothing but love for y'all, man. Y'all have a great one. And you already know the slogan, baby. We gone. There's a bigger fight going on. There's a much bigger agenda than the streets. And I know sometimes it's hard to see that far in front of us, but we have to look past the illusions, look past the delusions of grandeur, and look at the bigger picture. We need to become better versions of ourselves each and every day. Fight for what you believe in. Because if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. We just getting started, baby. You guys know the slogan now. Hope you all have a great evening. And we go.